What's going on, Dub Nation? You're watching Warriors Today by Chat Sports, and today we're coming with a little lighter energy, right? You guys, I read in the comments, you guys think I should believe in the Golden State Warriors, the roster they have set in place. Well, today we're going to break down one of the key pieces of that roster, Brandin Podziemski, and why he'll shock the NBA this upcoming season. The front office has put a ton of faith in him, so let's break down why he's going to take that next step. But before we do, if you're excited for year 2 of Brandin Podziemski, you want to see him take that big next step and be the number 2 on this roster next to Steph Curry and the future of the Golden State Warriors backcourt, like today's video, go on ahead and hit that thumbs up icon. Let's try to get 400 likes. I'll look at the numbers later, and if we're past 400, that tells me that Golden State Warriors fans are real pumped up for year 2 of Brandin Podziemski, and we'll get into today's video. So the number one reason why Brandin Podziemski is going to shock the NBA is probably the number one reason why any player gets better, right? He's got a refined, improved game that he's worked on this offseason. Obviously, if we look back to last year, Brandin Podziemski put up good rookie numbers, honestly. 9 points a game, 5.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists, pretty decent efficiencies across the board as a smaller guard. And he's about 6'4", but played in 73 games last year, and it was over 26 minutes a night for Steve Kerr, which is very unusual for a rookie. So we'll talk about that in a little bit later. But Brandin Podziemski talked to 95.7 the game and spoke about how his improvements are coming along this offseason. He said, for me, I'm feeling really good. Took out the floaters, took out the hook shots, kind of put in some more mid-range stuff, more threes off the dribble, more threes off the catch. Steve Kerr has actually talked about making that improvement for Brandin Podziemski's game. So just adding different things, and then defensively trying to take that challenge, being out there with Steph every night. And it is going to be a challenge for Brandin Podziemski. But I think his game is already really smooth. You know, he said he was taking out the floaters and the hook shots. I actually thought that Brandin Podziemski did those things at a very high efficiency last year, and, you know, had a game that was a little bit beyond his years, using really good off of 2 feet, very patient in the lane, whether it would be to, fake out a defender and put up a shot or find somebody open on the corner or on the wing. Brandin Podziemski is a really smooth game coming off of ball screens, both as a screener and a ball handler. Brandin Podziemski overall has a very smooth game, but he's going to take it to that next level next season. And as far as my season projections for Brandin Podziemski go, I actually upped them a couple decimal points. I think with the fact that Golden State is likely not to add any more big fish on the roster heading into the season, Brandin Podziemski is going to be about at 17 points a game, almost 7 rebounds, because, I mean, guys, in 26 minutes a game last year, he was hunting down boards, crashing the glass constantly. I think he's going to be at about 7 rebounds a game this year, and then even close to 7 assists as well. And with more volume, with a more refined game, with more work this offseason, I think his efficiencies are going to go up as well. 39% from 3. If we can get that from Brandin Podziemski this season, I would be absolutely satisfied with his progression into year 2. And a big reason for that is that he's had a huge summer, massive summer of work when it comes to what Brandin Podziemski has been able to do this summer here. So as far as what he has done, was a member of that Team USA select team, right? Where you pick a roster of young talent around the NBA, and in one case, a incoming college player, to play up and match up against Team USA's roster that would go on and win the 2024 Paris Olympic gold medal. So Brandin Podziemski was basically the point guard, the leader of that Team USA select team. Those guys might have been handpicked by Steve Kerr, but Podziemski was still deserving of the honor. Cooper Flagg, the incoming college prospect, the number 1 overall recruit in this class, heading to Duke this season, called Brandin Podziemski his favorite teammate. And more often than not, Cooper Flagg was looking like one of, if not the best player overall on that Team USA select team, and he said Brandin Podziemski was his favorite teammate, always getting him involved, making him available, and just being a great distributor and pacemaker of the basketball game when they were making those scrimmages against Team USA. And then he went on to play for the Warriors Summer League team, where he was just getting some burn in, honestly, just keeping the competitive juices flowing right after Team USA, and just put up basically numbers that said, I'm too good for this. I don't need to be playing in Warriors Summer League. But hey, he got the work in, and he's going to show that there was no business even putting him in that position last year. But I'm glad he got all that work during the season. It's going to pay off in 24-25. Now, what do you guys think, though? Do you guys think Brandin Podziemski is going to be a future All-Star? Somebody has this comment out there in the world and really believes it. I want to know if you guys believe it. Does Brandin Podziemski ever make an All-Star team in his career? Is he a bona fide future All-Star? Let me know down in the comments by typing Y for yes and for no. And we'll talk about 2 more reasons why Brandin Podziemski is going to shock the NBA on the back half of this video. But before we do, got to get you guys dripped out in the number 1 Team USA shirt from the Paris 2024 Olympics. They just won gold. Steph Curry carried them over those last 2 minutes in the Paris gold medal game against France. And, man, front and center right next to LeBron there on this Team USA shirt. You can go get yours today at chatsports.com/Team USA. They got all the sizes in stock. I'm going to get myself one to rock here on the show in the near future. So go get yours today, chatsports.com/Team USA. I made it easy for you guys. I put it in the comments and the description of today's video. So go get your Team USA merch right now. So number 3 on why Brandin Podziemski will shock the NBA this season is that he has immense trust put in him by the front office. They have put a lot of faith in Brandin Podziemski, and they've talked a pretty big game about him. And kind of overarching all of the faith that Brandin Podziemski has in him is that they've held Brandin Podziemski out of any and all trade talks this offseason. When they were pursuing Paul George before free agency began, Brandin Podziemski was never thrown around in any potential trade package to the Clippers. Then Lauri Markkanen becomes available, doesn't become available, whatever. His name is floating around in trade talks, and Golden State is at the forefront of those discussions. But they never really got that far because guess what? Golden State decided not to include Brandin Podziemski in any trade talks. So guess what? The Warriors have a lot of faith now in Brandin Podziemski. There's a big expectation for him to be taking the next step, to take a big leap as a pillar of this franchise moving forward. Steve Kerr's got the faith in him. Here's what he had to say back in February about Brandin Podziemski's game. He said, first of all, he's remarkably advanced for his age and his experience, or lack thereof. He's got great instincts for the game. He's got a knack for being in the right place at the right time in terms of rebounding, passing lanes, loose balls, all that stuff. Joe Lacob had a big-time comment in July while Brandin Podziemski was playing in Summer League. He said, he was a revelation, to be quite honest. He does so many things well, ultra confident. He's got an NBA body, can get whatever he wants or can get wherever he wants. Obviously, he can shoot threes. He can drive. He can pass. I mean, what can he do? We're really excited. We think we've got a future all-star. We really do. I hope Joe Lacob is right. I honestly, I hope Joe Lacob is right in this assumption that Brandin Podziemski is going to be a future all-star, a pillar of this organization for years to come. Because if he isn't, then this Golden State front office, who knows? Their shelf life could be shortened. Steve Kerr's coaching tenure in Golden State could be shortened because they all believe heavily in the progression of Brandin Podziemski as somebody to build this Golden State roster around for the foreseeable future. I know you got Steph there now, but Brandin Podziemski's got 3 more years minimum of team control. He'll be a restricted free agent after that, so I'm assuming with the progression that he takes, will continue to be on this Golden State roster for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Brandin Podziemski's going to be around a while. I hope the front office is right in the faith that they put in him. But, like I said, Brandin Podziemski, he embraces the pressure when it comes to all the rumblings about his name being in trade talks, any buzz about him going here, going there. Doesn't matter. Brandin Podziemski didn't care about all the trade buzz this offseason. He embraced the adversity that he was given. You know, he didn't know where he'd be playing next season. He very well could have been a member of the Utah Jazz, but Golden State said, nah, we're not putting your name anywhere near these trade talks because we have so much faith in you. So Brandin Podziemski said, screw it. I'm going to use that to my advantage. Here's what he had to say about the trade talks this offseason. He said it was a good feeling to know you're wanted across the league. They see your value. And at the same time, you see how much value Golden State has there. It was good to be a part of that, to go through it. He said he was using it to his advantage, and now he has huge expectations placed on him. I'm glad he's embracing this. I'm glad he's taking it and kind of has that dog mentality where he doesn't care where he plays. He's glad that he's wanted, and he's going to show them why they want him so bad. So I hope all the assumptions are right on him and that he takes this in stride, uses it as motivation for the next season, and can kind of live up to the name that Joe Lacob, Steve Kerr, Steph Curry, Cooper Flagg, all these guys are putting on him. I think that Brandin Podziemski is going to rise to the occasion. And guess why? Because the opportunity is there for him. This Golden State roster has one alpha. His name is Steph Curry. After that, we don't know. We do not know. But by not including Brandin Podziemski or Jonathan Kuminga in any trade talks, you're giving them a massive responsibility now. There is no reason why Jonathan Kuminga and Brandin Podziemski should ever see the bench at the start of a game next season. They need to be used as focal points in this offense. If you want the future of this team to have clear direction, then Brandin Podziemski and Jonathan Kuminga, by that instance, are going to be at the forefront of it. I mean, with the Golden State's roster this offseason, Yes, you lose an all-time player, a franchise pillar in Klay Thompson. He's gone. He's out to Dallas. Chris Paul was a one-year experiment. You felt like you needed to get rid of Jordan Poole, so you brought in Chris Paul. Didn't really work well. He's damn near 40. He's on his way to San Antonio. Go feed Wemby the ball. And you bring in DeAnthony Melton, Buddy Hield, and Kyle Anderson. Now, I like these players. They're good marginal upgrades, good depth pieces, but none of them have the ceiling that Brandin Podziemski does, and none of them, even in my opinion, are better than Brandin Podziemski is right now. So who is the number 2 on this roster? Who is going to step up and put yourself in a position next to Steph Curry, take some leadership on this Golden State roster? You got Jonathan Kuminga. You got Andrew Wiggins. You got Buddy Hield. But I've seen the most maturity, I've seen the most polish, and I've seen the most dog mentality out of Brandin Podziemski. So, in my opinion, I believe in Brandin Podziemski's next step to take the mantle from, I guess, Klay Thompson in this scenario. Go be the number 2 scoring option on this Golden State Warriors basketball team. Go be the backcourt, basically king. Go be the backcourt leader of the future. Steph Curry's got 3-4 great years left, and Brandin Podziemski, it's his time to shine thereafter. So I believe in Podziemski's next step. I want to hear from you guys, though. Do you believe in Brandin Podziemski? Type B for believe down in the comments section, or type D for don't. Type D for don't tells me you probably think they should have traded Brandin Podziemski to go make one of these big deals this offseason. But let me know down in the comments if you believe in Brandin Podziemski or not. And that'll do it for today's edition of Warriors Today by Chat Sports. If you want every single update surrounding your Golden State Warriors this offseason, heading into the regular season as the schedule was just released, Golden State's got a tough season ahead of them, but we're going to cover it all right here at the channel, youtube.com/WarriorsTV. Make sure you're subscribed, and we'll see you later. Go Dubs.